Well, the Kelford cams arrived after almost half a year. So here we go. Kelford 6A13TT TX272. Spec card number in case anyone's interested in that. Actually, let's get the specs out of the bag so you can read them. We got cam lift, rocker ratio, duration, timing. Obviously you can change that with the cam timing sprocket. There you go, for anyone who's interested in the specifications. I currently have 262 regrinds in mine. I'm going to turn the camera off here so I can get these out with two hands because, and as you can see, I've got like padding here. If you drop camshaft on a hard surface, they can just shatter and break in half. So I won't be doing that. Back in a minute. All right, here's them first removed in bubble wrap. Assembly lube, always important. You never know who's going to be assembling it. And I see these have been actually vacuum sealed. Well, they've been sealed, which is kind of handy too. All right, again, I'll go back to two hands to get this out. All right, let's have a quick look down these. As you can see, a bit of stock camshaft here. I'm going to actually just try and get these into focus for you. You can sort of see the duration of the stock camshaft, and then we compare that to the duration, let me get my thumb out of the way, of the Kelford in the much longer duration. Very pretty. Although I'm assuming these are both intake cams, but then that's the other one of those that came out of the box in the top part of the box, and it has a much longer extension over on where the sprocket goes. So I'm assuming that must be the front exhaust cam, because it's the one that has the cam pulse generator on it. I don't know. I haven't worked that out yet. And there's no markings on them that I can tell to suggest which one's intake and exhaust, whereas I'm pretty sure the factory ones do. But the factory one here is the basis for what I've got in my car, which is a regrind. That being the base of the lobe here has been ground down, which causes the lifter, the lash adjuster, to fill up that gap, which in turn, when the lobe comes around, causes there to be more lift. And the regrinds have also been altered on their lobe profile, which causes a slightly longer duration as well. But they're not as nicely made in terms of the lobe face and angles as these Kelfords. These are welded, oh no, not welded, billet cams, sorry. Whereas the regrinder, of course, is just a stock cam that's been reground and had the face after the grinding rehardened. So there's a limit to how far you can go with a regrind cam. In fact, my car still has a slight lifter clatter, even with spacers under shims under the lash adjusters or the lifters, whereas with the billet cam, we won't have that issue because this gap here on the base of the cam lobe will be the same as stock. In fact, I can probably just go and measure that right now and I'll let you know. All right, this is going to be a bit tricky for you to see, but I'll adjust this out to where it's, touching on the base of the lobe. And it's about 4.3 mil by the look of it. And let's get the Kelford out and do the same. Oh yeah. Let's readjust that. I think it says 4.7. Let's have a look. I need to get right on the back of the lobe. Oh, no, it's the same, 4.3. So yeah, so basically between a stock cam and the Kelford billet cam, the lash adjusters, stock lash adjusters, will work fine without shims. In fact, you shouldn't put shims in them. But since my car has a clatter, all right, what I think has happened with mine is that the lash adjusters have overextended prior to putting the shims in, and pretty much all my lash adjusters are toast, I believe. In fact, a couple of them, when I put the shims in, a couple of them fell apart. And by that I mean, here's an old head. The lash adjuster under there, basically, in fact, fuck it, let's pull one out. So the lash adjuster here, the top of it popped off and separated. And I suspect that, like this is like a crimp cover here. Let's see if we can get a focus on that. It might be tricky. Oh, let's try. Let's zoom in. Yeah, where's my finger? There's crimped over there on the end, and that crimp broke, and the top half of the lash adjuster just effectively popped off. And I suspect that that's probably happened to most of my current lash adjusters, and if it wasn't for the fact that they were locked in the car, they might have flown apart already. And I also suspect that it might stop the oil sealing, which is causing them to not hold appropriate pressure. So yeah, that's a good example of the new Kelford billet cams with the specs included at the start of the video. And hopefully when I get these in, we'll compare these to the power the car is currently making with these turbos. As some of you may be aware, this car does not have the TME turbos. It has the Intense Turbochargers made by Rick from Intense Turbochargers in Dandenong, Australia. And we're all very curious how these will behave compared to Steve's high flow, extreme high flow turbos. We don't really know the differences between them, between mine and his. We know that mine are a little bit lower, we think, but we've never really done a like-for-like comparison with the same kind of cams exactly. So we're about to find out.